Mexico. Okay. Well,
But it looks the same thing. You set up a dungeon. This is
oh,
a castle, but it's you set up a dungeon. You put traps,
see,
and then and then people will come through trying to steal your loot, and you've got to be able to.
those I know what games you're talking about, but see, there's another aspect to this game as well, and this game is a lot more. It's not as in depth. It's a much more casual version of what you're
So was Dungeons. Dungeons wasn't hardcore. It was meant for you could do it hardcore you want, or it was more of a casual.
Yeah, this is that
fun thing of watching people go through your traps and getting complete.
That involved like there was no depth to that, and this is a little more straightforward. It doesn't take very long to like design your dungeons, and like when you go into other people's dungeons to raid and steal their loot, you're looking at maybe like 10-15 minutes at the most. Here, it's definitely got a much more cartoonish vibe to it, and this one's free to play. That game was. Is it still really loud?
Free to play once you bought it.
It's free to play once you bought
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you
So when you build your castle, is it real life friends or NPCs?
When you build your castle, no, the creatures in your castle are AI. You're not in control of them. You don't control the dungeon when other people are in it.
Right.
Yeah,
But can other people, as in friends, come into your dungeon?
Oh, yeah.
Can like I go visit your dungeon and try to get through your dungeon puzzle, or is it only you're sitting there watching waves of AI come through?
Yeah. You would go into the dungeon that I made, and you would try and get through it. And if you manage to get through it, then you can steal actual money from me. You can actually take my money, my loot.
That's cool. So you can see who can build the most deathly dungeon.
Yeah.
Or castle.
Exactly. And as you level up, you get more traps, and you get access to more creatures, and you get access to more rooms. So
right, but you just can't edit it while I'm in there because that would be unfair.
No. I gotta, like, if you're in my dungeon, like, if I'm smart, I'm gonna be over in your dungeon stealing your stuff.
Because my dungeon's gonna be set up like a crazy trap-ridden Indiana Jones like thing.
It's gonna be really.
Yeah, you're gonna have to run from a giant ball, and you're gonna have to it's gonna be insane.
Yeah, I don't know. I say bring it on. I actually did pretty.
I'm gonna be stealing your loot while you're dying.
Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty awesome in the game I played, but you know.
What are the traps you can set up other than I saw fire and some blades? What are the more creative traps?
Let's see. There's a floor that will try and eat you. Like different, there's 4 panels, and it goes in a certain order, so you can avoid it, but you could get thrown into it. The saw blades going back and forth are one of the harder ones to avoid. The rotating flames weren't that tough to get around. But the thing of it is you can't just run through these dungeons avoiding monsters and things like that, because once you set the trap off, then once a monster sees you, they don't go off. They're talking about taking that out because it made it really, really tough in the version I played.
What do you mean they don't go off when a monster sees you?
You know how you can run away from monsters and eventually they'll stop chasing you? Now at the moment they don't stop chasing you. I think they're getting rid of that.
Can the monsters get killed by the traps as well if you set something off and you dodge it but they don't?
The monsters, they can. The traps are kind of automated mostly. There aren't a lot that you actually set off yourself, so they can get past them if that's what you're talking about. Look,
if I'm running past the fire spinner and I just missed it, but there's a monster chasing me behind me, will the monster then get caught in the fire and die?
No,
can I lead monsters into traps to die?
They're smart enough to get out of the way of stuff.
Oh, those
SOBs. Yeah, it doesn't quite work like that. But the game, it's got a cool like cartoonish art style to it. Pretty easy to pick up and just like go, and it doesn't cost anything when it finally comes out. So
what's it going to be on?
It's a PC game, free to play PC.
Is it like Steam?
I don't know.
Website.
I don't know. I think you might just download it. It could be on Steam. I'm not gonna confirm or deny that. Nothing.
Different castles? Do you design your castle, or is the layout the same, but you just trap it differently?
No. You get rooms, and each room has like its own design. So you might get a room with like a walkway in the middle and like squares in between that you will have to like walk either through the middle or to the left and right, and then that leads to another room, and that room could be a long corridor with like 4 crossroads at the end, and 2 of those could lead to nowhere, and one of those is the way out. That kind of thing.
Now, how does the game know that I'm not just setting up a completely unbeatable room?
Well, there's limitations on how many traps you can set up and where you can set them up.
Okay.
Like you're given a rating, and that rating is like different creatures and different traps have certain ratings. So as that number increases, like once you reach your cap on how much stuff you can have, it's like, okay, this is enough. Obviously, that number will go up as you get more rooms and you level up and you get more stuff to put in it. So these are all the castles have their own levels. So if you're like a level 8 character, you could go to a level 10 dungeon or a level 10 castle and try and raid it. And if you do beat it, you get way better loot than you would if you didn't go for that high level. But you could also just go for level 8 and get like some decent stuff.
So it's like the fire code in sim houses.
Yeah. And then the other thing is people aren't just going to be able to rob you blind. Like they're not going to just be able to take all of your money. Like you're not going to be able to raid my castle and then go back and raid it again. They're going to set some sort of like time limitation on it, so it's like maybe like if you rob me, then nobody else can rob me for the next like 12 hours or something like that. Like they can still go through my dungeon, but they're not going to get all of my personal loot. Like they can, and obviously since it is the mighty quest for epic loot, there is going to be a lot of loot in the game in general. So like you're going to find weapons and armor on enemies all the time.
Okay. Yeah. Huh.
And like I said, it's a free-to-play game, so it doesn't cost you anything to play.
I'll play it.
Yeah, you might as well check it out.
I want to build a dungeon that is impenetrable.
I love how like you were so quick to judge it too. You like looked at it.
It is like really, really kind of carbon copy of the other one I played, but I really liked it.
It's not though. It is really not because it's got
gameplay is. The art style is different, but the gameplay is a much the same.
Just the castle building.
I like it. I like that style of game, so I will still play.
But see, you're just castle building. You're not micromanaging. You're not micromanaging all your creatures, and you're not putting pretty little things in the rooms to distract heroes. You're building your castle, and then you're going out and playing a very Diablo-esque sort of adventure quest. So it's more like Dungeon Defender meets Diablo. Pardon me.
They're being funny in chat.
I'm being funny in chat, or are they in the Lion forums to penetrate Raychul's dungeon? Oh,
I know, that's hilarious.
Hey, whoa, whoa. Ha, yeah. All right. Well, that's enough of that right there.